Have you ever stopped to wonder how AI got so good at understanding, well, pretty much any language you throw at it? A huge piece of that puzzle came from a groundbreaking paper back in 2018 called SentencePiece. Today, we're going to dive into how this one idea solved a massive problem that was seriously holding back the AI that we all use every single day.
So let's start with a really basic question. You and I can read this sentence, no problem. But a computer? It just sees a long string of characters. It has no built-in idea of what a word is or where one ends and the next one starts. And this gets even trickier for languages like Japanese or Thai that don't even use spaces between words. So how on earth do you teach an AI to read raw, messy human text?
Well, the answer is a process called tokenization. This is the absolute first step for any AI that has to work with language. You've got to chop up that big stream of text into smaller, meaningful chunks, or tokens, that a neural network can actually understand. It's kind of like dicing up vegetables before you start cooking. You're just making the pieces manageable.
But before 2018, the way we did this was, well, let's just say it was a mess. A real mess. It was this complicated, deeply flawed system that created a huge bottleneck, making it incredibly difficult to build AI that could work on a global scale.
The whole problem boiled down to one really bad assumption. The old systems expected the text to be all cleaned up and prepared before the AI even saw it. This meant that humans had to neatly divide the text into words in a step they called pre-tokenization. And believe me, it was a massive headache for developers.
I mean, just look at this old process. First, you had to apply a bunch of custom rules for every single language to handle its unique grammar and punctuation. Then you'd split by spaces, which we already know doesn't work for a ton of languages. It was just this clunky, inefficient, multi-step process that was anything but elegant.
And this right here gets to the heart of the issue. The old way was completely language dependent. You literally needed an expert to write rules for English, another one for German, and a completely different set of rules for Japanese. It made the whole thing slow, super expensive, and honestly, really biased towards the big, well-resourced languages.
But then, in 2018, everything changed. Taku Kodo and John Richardson published their paper, and it offered a radically simpler and way more powerful solution. It was a true breakthrough that totally flipped the script on how we thought about this problem.
This quote from the paper's abstract says it all. The two magic phrases here are raw sentences and language independent. What does that really mean? It means no more manual cleanup, no more custom rules for every language. For the first time, the AI could learn directly from the text itself, exactly as a human wrote it.
So, how did they actually pull this off? How does SentencePiece take that raw, messy text and turn it into perfect tokens without any human-made rules? The secret, it turns out, is its incredible simplicity.
Okay, remember that crazy four-step process we looked at earlier? This is the SentencePiece version. Raw text goes in, tokens come out. That's it. All those complicated language-specific steps, they're just gone. It's a purely end-to-end system, from start to finish.
So here's the magic trick. SentencePiece completely ignores spaces and punctuation. Instead, it just looks at a massive amount of text and figures out, statistically, what the most common and useful building blocks are. Think about a word like unhappiness. It can be broken down into un, happy, and ness. SentencePiece learns how to find those meaningful little pieces all on its own for any language you give it.
Now, this shift from a rigid, rule-based system to a flexible, learning-based one, this wasn't just a minor technical upgrade. It had these massive, profound ripple effects across the entire field of AI.
The benefits were just enormous. Suddenly, you didn't need to do any pre-tokenization. You could feed Japanese, Turkish, or Swahili into the exact same system you use for English, and it would just work. This created one unified system that made training these huge language models way faster, more efficient, and a whole lot more equitable.
And that right there is why this 2018 paper was such a monumental deal. By creating a truly language-independent tokenizer, SentencePiece just shattered a huge barrier. It paved the way for the incredibly powerful multilingual AI that you use every single day. From Google Translate to the large language models that can write poetry or code, it basically helped make this technology accessible to the entire world.
Which leaves us with this really fascinating thought. If an AI can learn the very structure of any human language just by looking at raw text, with no prior instructions, what other incredibly complex patterns in knowledge could it discover on its own? This paper didn't just give us a better tool, it opened up a whole new frontier of possibilities.